discussion, and I believe it's going to be a powerful and interesting one, of course. But before then, let me give some shout outs to people who are making this program all the time possible, especially to the guys. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And even especially to the program manager, Mr. Jekum, to Apostle David Apotete. Today, the other one is here, and I will introduce him very soon. Apostle David Apotete, my father in the Lord. Thank you so much, Daddy, for your protection. Thank you so much for your leadership and your prayers. May the good Lord bless you. I know you're listening to Life and Living It. Ella from MTN, Nana Abba Edu, Luxus Spa and Wellness. I know you're listening to Life and Living It. Margaret Bento, I know you're listening to Life and Living It. And even to my beautiful wife, Dorcas Aban, I know you also listen to Life and Living It. Tonight's topic is an interesting one. Before I introduce the topic and my guest for tonight, this is our inspirational message for the week. It's taken from the book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 16. Let the message about Christ in all its richness fill your lives. Teach and counsel each other with all the wisdom he gives. Sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs to God with thankful heart. And so this is our inspirational message. Whatever you do, whatever you are yearning to do and learn, make sure that you are filling your life with the message of Christ. Let the word of God dwell in you richly. And I believe that as we keep doing that, we gradually become like Jesus himself. And so tonight, we thank God for giving us this opportunity. I have in the studio here two great women of God, and our topic tonight is simply the life of a pastor's wife. There's an interesting topic indeed, the life of a pastor's wife. Most of the time we hear about pastors, we hear about churches, but there's somebody behind the scene. As the saying goes, that beside every great man there is a powerful woman. That's my own. Beside every great man you see, there is somebody who is pushing, motivating, inspiring, even advising, who is motivating the person to do great things that we see. There is somebody who is unassuming. And so tonight, it's a privilege to host this great women of God who are going to help us to see and to know the life of a pastor's wife. Good evening. Good
evening, sir.
Hey, Japan. Oh, wonderful. And so I'll allow them to introduce themselves, and then I'll come in again. And so let's start if so my milizi, will introduce you now, and for the listeners to know who you are. Maybe I'm sorry if you even though he's here to support you.
From me, Reverend Mrs. Elizabeth Kweku.
Wow.
From a Prison Way Chapel, Anaji.
Reverend Mrs. Elizabeth Kweku, a Prison Way Chapel, Anaji. I'm sure. But who is into that?
Reverend Isaac Komikweku.
Wow, the one who has made use of Mami.
Yes.
Is Reverend
Isaac Komikweku.
Powerful. Yes, he's already here. Okay, Womi.
Lady Reverend Ohenewa Appel to Top Life Chapel, Anaji. My husband is doing the listening, so yes, he's my boss. Oh. He's my mentor. He's my everything. Apostle David Appel to 21 gunshot salute.
Wow. Once again, you're welcome to Life and Living It.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. There are a lot of people who are out there. Especially when I posted this, people were asking questions and people were commenting. Hey, this is an interesting topic we all want to hear, because it's a topic people don't normally talk about, and it is some of the one of the topics that people hardly discuss: the life of a pastor's wife. In the Indian, I believe that you're going to help our listeners know more about how is it to be a pastor's wife. How is it to be a pastor's wife? The life of a pastor's wife. And see, the first question I would like to know is that how do you feel to be a pastor's wife? Say, a sophomore year, how is it feeling like? But then, how is it feeling like? Message if you, Lady Reverend Lizzie.
Mama from my major one
Hey,
Christabel, Linda, Nanshiraba. Native Winina, my church members in Chubia. So what could be a Safumamia? Oya ze papa. Na oya a chosen son of freeing young coupon.
okay.
Satase. O Sunday Bible my yetase there. And Zama a papa Nima oya fear no more yina free young coupon. Into say me yourself my mea. Oya nyame na wa ma me yourself my me. Into auto debut no suno. Me de enumnyam mezema onyankopo sanda wa ama me achaza osomebo that me also for me
The feeling not then
me feel good me feel good
on a chapel day rest the first lady apart from ABC president Naka the first lady and I Ghana the president we call the wife
in fact all my meeting we am done that me also for my meeting we am done.
I see.
Lady
Reverend Ahenoa, how is the feeling like to be yourself, mommy? I am Sishana there, or it's Mudawana.
Okay, man of God, thank you. Let me extend my regards to all your listeners and then my family, Top Life Chapel, and everybody doing the listening this evening. To your question, I don't see it as a feeling, personally. I see it to be a perception.
Wow.
Yes, so it is the perception that is very important.
Right.
Yeah, so I see it as a perception. And in my view, I think being a pastor's wife is a divine assignment from God.
Wow.
Yes.
You see it as an assignment.
Yes, as a divine assignment that you need to work at it.
Okay.
Yes. But if, to borrow your word, if it is a feeling, then I feel greatly honored to be part of this calling.
Wow.
Yes. When we read Philippians chapter 3 verse 14, I don't know. Okay, let me read. It says, I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Christ Jesus. So it is a high calling. Man of God, nobody voted for Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo to be the first lady of Ghana. By virtue of Ghanaians voting her husband into power, it makes her the first lady of Ghana. And now we accord her by her excellency.
Wow.
Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo. So if your husband is having a high calling, I cannot have a low calling. Wow. So I feel honored.
Wow. Hey, that's so powerful. Wow. And so, as of my being, they are trying to tell us that it's so great to be Sofumami. It's so great. So the young ladies out there who are yearning to be a Sofumami or Sofumami Funo, and those who are even ignoring, they are saying that it is so great. It's a high calling. Okay, let's go back before Bayes of Mami. What are the things you considered before accepting to marry your husband? Even at that time, on yes of opinion, another be a soft kakraba, Nazin the hand. Abenyama damana consider and sana Elijatum there a bower soft because most of the time, no, I saw for one story, say, bone there was starter, shooting Lucifer. Now, there, it looks as if they are depending on people to survive and graces to survive in the society. It is so for people corner work, it is set to them, not say, upon all your shabra bassa, Abenyama them and what consider before accepting to be the wife of such a man of God. of by me.
What you may consider there or ya chaza yanko ponsama. Sunday a janum ye japazi zama number.
Okay.
And our yanko pono zama. When you nimpa no ma war or yanko pono zama. And it's in a yesha Bible ma Adam na time when yankopon hunde Adam nanko to rin to mintina into o ma Eve baka no ho into say time a mikun catch him the opem no o catch him the opem no na aware no mi hunda one o ye numnyam hye
Okay.
no ye a chezen so a onyankopon ozebram into Adam consider the onyankopon a chezen
at that time no but the spew ho in the playing the butcher man no only ya but down as a but you still considered that apart from the hundo ya chezen abezi biom na consider because ehu could not be on today sisia moti were not today how he is now, where God has taken him to now. Abenyama dem na share apart from there ehu the that's the best of mommy or ya chezen abedi biom na share because best of mommy go to nebidiana.
Yeah. Me share that one. Osro nyame.
Okay.
Owa ho brase.
Okay.
And you're a very responsible person.
That's powerful. That's a powerful key. A responsible man. Wow. Reverend Ahinowa. Abedema dem na consider.
Okay, to add a bit to us, a woman of God, Wakano. Personally, I realized my husband was one, a born again Christian.
Okay.
And two, he feared God. And three, his pandoroma about his calling was right.
Okay.
You see, I met him as a man of God. He wasn't rich. Nobody knew him. But I realized the calling of God on him, the perception is right. And then that pushed me to say yes to him. Even initially, it was a struggle though. But if anybody that knows my husband knows that you will fall in love with him anytime he's behind pulpit. So he just took me to a program one day. And then after preaching, I just said, ask the question again. Yes. You see, yes.
So the preaching did the magic.
That's right. And his perception about what God has called him to do, it is right. He fears God. He's a genuine man of God. And above all, he's a man of integrity. And that's the thing that pushes me to him always, even after so many years of marriage.
That's
future nobody saw in him. Yes. I saw the nobody saw. God, I was so fortunate. And then I will say I thank God because God really opened the eye of my spiritual understanding. Yes, to see his future that he himself didn't even see
at that time.
Yes, at that time.
That's super. Young guys out there who are trying to corner some ladies, make sure you perform well behind the pulpit because that alone can open the floodgate. Anyway, let me ask this question. Do you think that it is a calling to be a pastor's wife? Because in there you can petition be will do a short day and we put on where suffer, but when you the suffer now fine pay, not from suffering. Baby, so how the pastor looks in that now. I start when you suffer no WhatsApp. Even though it be on a pedestal of family, no, but someone suffer so yanke or you won't. But do you think it's a calling to be your soft mommy? Afraid? How is it like? I mean, why do you think it's a calling?
Oh, your first Sunday, in Genesis chapter 12, verse 5 now. What's a bra when you go on friend Abraham? Abraham, nene na to an no call as I saw no young coupon is Zama Abraham. Into or your friend.
Wow. So you believe that's because from the biblical point of view, God called Abraham, and when Abraham was going, he went with a wife. One kade umike juma yamia swam. Tina mama now. Brother Sian Kobo Brenna Yankopan Sankoba. So you think it's a calling. What about you, Lady Reverend?
Okay. Pastor Mike, I second what Pastor Mrs. Lizzie just said. One, it is a calling, but under the calling, I will categorize it in 3 different types or groups.
Okay.
So one, it is a calling, like she rightly said. It is a calling because God has called your husband.
Okay.
And then per the scripture we read, yes, the Philippians 3:14, I made it known or clear that it is a high calling. So the fact that your husband has been called, you also have been called to be a partner in ministry. You understand? So far as he is called, you are also called. So yes, it is a calling. So many people are so much interested in this particular question. Yes, is it a calling to be a pastor's wife? It is a calling.
Okay.
Right from my infancy, it has always been my prayer. It has always been my desire. So one, the desire should move you to be a pastor's wife. So it is a calling. And then 2, it's not just about you being called to be a pastor's wife, but you can also serve to become a pastor's wife.
Okay.
So the first category is it's a call. The second one is your service can also make you a pastor's wife. Elisha was not called a prophet. Elisha was not a man of God, but by virtue of encounter with Elijah, by virtue of his service to Elijah, he became what? The successor of Elijah, and even did so many miracles as compared to what? Elijah. So the person you serve can also grace you or help you become what? A pastor's wife.
Wow.
And then the next one is you should have a right pursuit.
Okay.
The motive should be right. So many women of God or pastors' wives have been called to be pastors' wives, but the motive is wrong. It is a right pursuit. It is a right thing. Like we are all saying, we feel great, we feel honored, but the motive behind it, some people, they are just happy they are pastors' wife because somebody hurt me, so they want to take a revenge. Okay, anytime I'm giving the pulpit, you insulted me, so I might make sure I blast the church or something. You see, so the pursuit is right, and then the motive is wrong. Let's go into the Bible so that we pick lessons from the Bible. Let's take Leah and Jacob for an example. Leah, God compensated Leah with the fruit of the womb because she was not loved. When you read the scripture, it will tell you that Leah was hated. Not as in hated, but the husband didn't truly love her. It was Rachel she loved. And then her father deceived Jacob and gave her Leah. But as a compensation of that, God decided to open up her womb so that she will have children. The decision from God was right, but the motive of Leah was wrong because she felt she wasn't loved and God had opened her womb. Rachel was not giving birth to children as at that time. He just wanted to use that to intimidate Rachel. So rather, when she started giving birth, she gave birth to Reuben. She said, "See me, I am here. I have given birth to a son. See me, I have fulfilled my marital responsibility. My womb is open. See me." And then when he realized the husband was not seeing her, she gave birth to Simeon. And he said, "Hear me, my husband."
Okay.
And that didn't work. So she gave birth again, and she named her Levi, which means joining us together. That peradventure, this child will join myself and my husband together. And then the husband said, "No, you can give birth to 10 children. It is still Rachel I love." Right. So to end it up, she said, "Okay, then let me give." God blessed her with the seed of the womb again, and then he said, "Okay, then let me name her Judah." Judah means praise. So whether my husband hears me, whether my husband see me, whether I am joined together with my husband, let me praise God. You see, so it was when she began to have the right motive that things started working. Even that one didn't work, because right from the word go, the motive was wrong. And when we go to 1 Samuel chapter 1 downwards, you see Hannah and Peninnah. God had closed Hannah's womb, and Peninnah was giving birth to children. Penina was always crying and praying to God, God, peradventure, give me the fruit of the womb. But the motive as at that time was wrong. You see, but when she changed her motive and went to Shiloh to pray and made a vow to God that, God, if you give me a son, I will dedicate him to you all the days of his life. Then when the motive, the mind started working right, when God started tuning the mind of Hannah, God decided, now you have a right motive. It is your availability to dedicate your child to me that is more important. So let me give you a son. Okay. And God blessed him with prophet what? Samuel. One child, but had so many destiny fulfillments. Okay. He was one son, but he did so many things. We never heard of the children of Penina again. Okay. Yes, so I think it is the motive.
So it has to do with motive.
That's
after
right.
After God called
motive should be
pastor's
right.
Wife.
Yes.
Your motive should be right.
Should be right.
That's so powerful. Let me ask this question with regards to all that we are all saying, that it is a calling. It is a calling to be a pastor's wife. So if it is a calling, then what is the role of the wife of the of the wife of the pastor in his ministry? What's the role of the wife in the ministry of the pastor? Pastor, the wife, no role in Yabadi. If we have agreed that or your calling in software no role or software ministry is what? So my ministry.
As of my new role of play war church in the one or be shade software debiano or wasomje.
All right.
And a two or be sure I saw them is that saw down in minutes then or be feed members or be sure they bibia the day I will a sorry for you. See a crime too.
Okay, all right. Okay, Lady Reverend.
Okay, Pastor Mike. I also think that work there is pastor's wife and I of mamia. I will also categorize that one also into two parts. Okay. That there is a thin line between ministry and church.
Okay.
There is a thin line between ministry and church. So when we talk about ministry, ministry is not church. Ministry is not a place, but ministry is in a man. Okay. As I'm sitting here, it is not the church top life that has brought me here. It is my ministry, our ministry that has brought us here. So you should know the difference. Okay. Please, do you understand? Yeah. You should know the difference. So it is up to you as the wife to know the ministry your husband is operating in. Whether your husband have a teaching ministry, whether he has a prophetic ministry, a healing ministry, power ministry, whether he's an evangelist or whatever, so that you will know the kind of help to offer. Okay. And then when it comes to like the role you play as a pastor's wife in a church, I believe the number one role a pastor's wife play in the ministry and in the church should be a woman of prayer. All the other one are secondary assignment. Okay. You should be a woman of prayer. You should pray for your husband's ministry. You should pray for the church. This thing we call ministry, and we talk about ministry every time. Man of God, believe you me, Jesus started this ministry on his knees. So what makes us think as pastor's wife that we can just continue this thing? Jesus birthed it out from his knee with our brains. So your number one role is to pray for your husband. Because when the enemy launch an attack and the enemy doesn't get your husband, the next person in line is you, the pastor's wife. All right.
This is getting interesting.
Yes, and then I would say that in your role in a church, okay, it could be, you see, when we come to church, men are the pillars of the church. Okay. Women are the beauty of the church. And children are the future of the church. So you as a pastor's wife, you must make sure that all these pillars, all this foundation is working and standing solid in the house of God. Okay. If one falls apart, the building becomes something. And then especially if the beauty of the church, which is the women, are not in unity, the church collapses. So as a pastor's wife, I believe your role in the church is to make sure the women are in one accord. Because when they are in one accord, believe you me, God will come down. Because anytime women stand to pray, something mega happens.
Wow. So if you're out there just joining us, this is Life and Living It, and we are just discussing the life of a pastor's wife. Is getting so interesting and interesting. The last bit that's they just said was that if you're a pastor's wife, your role is to give peace to your husband, and then you have to also pray behind your husband. That's a bigger assignment for women, that as you give peace for your husband to enable him to do what the Lord has asked him to do, you keep praying also for your husband. We're going to be right back. Just change the dial, and when we come back, we'll go deeper, and then we'll know those who are aspiring. I know there are a lot of aspirants there who are aspiring to become also from Mommy. I mean, now it's like beauty. Every pastor wants a beautiful one. So we'll come back and we'll talk more about it. Of a pastor's wife, and it's been interesting, and I have in the studio here two great women of God, and Lady Reverend Pretty Sally Apotiti and Lady Reverend Elizabeth Kweku. Yes, and tonight has been so wonderful. If you're out there, maybe you're a guy, you want to be a pastor, you're a young lady, you're yearning to get married to a man of God, or your boyfriend is a minister, I think these are conversations you really have to get into it and get more understanding about it. As a woman of God, let me ask this. I want to start from you, Lady Reverend Ohinowa. We've talked about the role of the wife in the pastor's ministry. Now, let's look at the challenges as a pastor's wife. What are some of the challenges? Because I know a lot of ladies say this, that, hey, I mean, I'm surviving to me, oh. Hey, I mean, I will tell you, I'm not to me survive you. I mean, people say this because they know that there are serious challenges, that they can't carry those burdens. But I know the grace of the Lord is keeping you all. Challenges, as of my I bet challenges, Damina, as of my full face.
So from Pocho, I mean, there, when it comes to the challenges of a pastor's wife, sometimes it's something that when you think about, you see, but then glory be to God for the strength to carry on. And you know, when it comes to the challenges of a pastor's wife, we have two challenges, main challenges that pastors' wives are facing. And then I'll start from the home. Then we will bring it to the church. Then my mommy will also continue from there.
It is well.
Yes, it is well. You see, when it comes to the house, the number one challenge that affects the pastor's wife is loneliness.
Hey, that's
You see, people will see that you are going, you are coming, you are doing your duties, you understand. But seriously, that woman is lonely because being a pastor's wife is the only work or job you will do that you share your husband with all church members.
All church members.
Both children, women, men, visitors, strangers, young, ugly, beautiful, whatever. You see, so at a point in time in the life of a pastor's wife, she is lonely, no matter how the pastor's wife is being loved by the husband. He will leave you. You will be in the house having a good time with your husband, having a good time with the family. Your husband will get a call. Whether he likes it or not, he must fulfill that assignment. He will leave you and he will go. If you are fortunate or if you are not fortunate and your husband is doing the traveling, that one is the worst part. You see, so pastor's wife, we are lonely. That one, it is a clear truth. Yes, we are always sacrificing our happiness for church members to be happy. And only God knows, even if that one is appreciated. Because you will be sick. A member will call, oh, daddy, me a fumuntumo.
But you are sick.
But you are also sick. You are always sharing your husband. You are having a good time. A call will come. Hey, that good time have to stop. He's fulfilling his call. He's fulfilling. So we are lonely. He goes, he never comes back, all in the name of doing what God has called him to do, which is good, which is fine. But the bottom line is, we are lonely in the house. And then one thing that pastors' wives, one challenge about pastors' wives too, is lack of training.
Okay.
You see, so many pastors' wives have been intimidated by instances of the past.
Okay.
And then they have called in. And then that ability to come out, to bring out what is in them, has diminished.
Okay.
So this woman, for example, needs to be trained to take away the trash in her.
All right.
And then every person is per her environment.
Okay.
I cannot live in Windy Ridge, for example, and behave like somebody who is, pardon my language, living in a Z zone.
Okay.
So I am per my environment. You see, and then one thing that we also that becomes a challenge to us is, even in terms of the training, so many women of God or pastors do not have people they look up to as mentors. And even with that, you can have a good mentor, but your ability to learn and learn good to depends on you, the pastor's wife. Let's take Sarah and Abraham, our father and our mother in the Bible, for an example, and let's take Lot's wife, Lot and his wife, for an example. Yeri can Lot, of my many Sarah. Sarah was a good woman. She was a good Osofumame. She had all the virtues to make one Osofumame. That Lot's wife could have learned something better from her. But what did she do? She failed to learn. She failed to be trained. Until rather she became a pillar of salt. But we should remember, salt is good, but becoming a pillar of salt is not good.
You have to move.
Yes, you have to move.
All right, you should not be a pillar.
Yes, and then when we look, let's take these two personalities, for example. My all-time favorite footballer, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, okay.
And let's compare him to Messi. Not about we doing comparison. But when you look at Messi, you see naturally, Messi is skillful in play. When he's playing, he's skillful. Now when you're true today in Kuma, no. But you can see that Cristiano Ronaldo is talented, but he trains hard. Training keeps him moving. Training makes him who he is now. Because he started before Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, right? But up till now, he's an old man playing football. And then let's say Messi too is up